Krishna, Arjun.
Hare Krishna.
Are you ready for the maha-Sivaratri quiz?
Yes.
Let's begin. What is the meaning of the name Shiva? Is it all attractive, auspicious, all powerful, or renounced?
Auspicious.
That's correct. Next, Lord Shiva is in charge of happiness, creation, preservation, or destruction.
Destruction.
Destruction is correct. Shivji drank poison during Samudra Manthan and he came to be known as Manikantha, Neelkantha, Bhairav or Shambhu.
Neelkantha.
That's correct. Shivji's wife Parvati, she is the daughter of sage Vashisht, Prajapati Daksh, Himavat
Himavat.
or Gautam Rishi.
Himavat.
That's correct, the king of mountains, Himavat. Which form of Shiva is known as the lord of animals and beasts? Vrikshanath, Pashupati, Bhuteshwar or Mahakal?
Pashupati.
That's correct. Next, in Vamshi Vat, Shivji is protecting in entry into Vrindavan as a Kshetrapal and he there is known as Bhuteshwar Mahadev, Gopeshwar Mahadev, Chakleshwar Mahadev or Rangeshwar Mahadev? Bhuteshwar Mahadev, Gopeshwar Mahadev, Chakleshwar Mahadev or Rangeshwar Mahadev? What's your answer?
Gopis.
Gopeshwar Mahadev, that's correct. Gopeshwar Mahadev took the form of a gopi with Vrinda Devi's help and tried to enter the Rasa dance. He is now present in Vrindavan as Kshetrapal. Next question. The three flying cities that Shivji destroyed was known as Tripura, Lanka, Indralok, Meru. Your choices are Tripura, Lanka, Indralok, Meru. Three cities. Tripura, Lanka, Indralok or Meru? Meru? I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer is Tripura. Tri means three and Pura means city. Next, the bow of Shiva is known as Gandiva, Pinaka, Parashu or Chandrahas.
Pinaka.
Pinaka is absolutely correct. The leaves and fruits of which tree are dear to Shivji? Mango, Tulsi, Bilva, jackfruit.
Bilva.
Sorry?
Bilva.
That's correct, Bilva. Shivji's carrier, is it Mushak the mouse, Nandi the bull, Ulka the owl or Garud the eagle?
Nandi the bull.
Nandi the bull is correct. And with that we end our quiz. Thank you.
Welcome.
On the auspicious occasion of maha-Sivaratri, let us know more about Lord Shiva. Shiva is neither an ordinary jiva like all of us, nor a typical devta like Surya or Indra. It is therefore said that Shiva is a unique living being and is in his own category of existence known as Shiva Tattva. Lord Shiva does not exist only at one level. He exists in different forms depending on the degree of his contact with Maya and is known by different names. As we know, there is a vast eternal spiritual world and a small pocket of a material world. At the border of the spiritual and material world, one comes to the planet of Shiva called Shivadham. This Shivadham or spiritual Kailash Dham has 3/4 portion lying in the spiritual realm and 1/4 portion lying in the material realm. Here, Lord Shiva resides in his eternal form of Sadashiv. Since he eternally resides there with his devotees, he is called Sada, meaning forever or eternal. Lord Shiva, who resides on this planet Earth, on Mount Kailash in Himalayas, is called Shankar. Other devtas like Brahma or Indra are empowered jivas and they have to change their post after a manavantara. But Sadashiv always exists eternally in the spiritual world and his spiritual Kailash Dham is not annihilated when the material manifestation is annihilated. Now let's understand a little more about some aspects of Shivji as he exists in the material world that we are in now. It is explained in Vayu Puran that Shiva is an expansion of Sadashiv. Lord Krishna, when he intends to create the material manifestation, He merely sends his glance over the deluding energy. Krishna's expansion in the form of Mahavishnu carries this glance to the material energy. The dim halo of this glance, the reflected effulgence, is Shiva in his form as Shambhu. It is through this form of Shiva that the Supreme Lord associates with material energy. Thus, Shiva is not really different from Krishna, yet remains subservient to him. The difference is like that of yogurt and milk. Yogurt is simply a changed form of milk, different in function simply by adding a certain acid. Similarly, the Supreme Being expands and changes into the distinct personality of Shambhu. The tendency for the individual living being to forget his spiritual identity comes from Shambhu. This forgetfulness makes the individual in this material world want to be an enjoyer of the material experience. This false identity makes all conditioned souls want to continue with their existence in this temporary mundane world. This forgetfulness is then carried further by Mahamaya or Durga. Let's understand the appearance of Lord Shiva in this universe. Brahma is the first created being in the universe. When Brahma gets angry at his sons, the four Kumaras, for not procreating, the anger manifests and appears from his forehead as a child crying anxiously. Brahmaji pacifies him, telling him that he would be chief of the demigods, and names him Rudra, or the anxiously crying entity, along with other designated names such as Shiva. Then Brahma asks Rudra to increase the population on a large scale. But upon seeing Rudra mentally produce sons that were destructive and free from fear and death like himself, Brahmaji requested Rudra to engage in penance and restore peace in the universe. Lord Brahma is in charge for creation and Lord Vishnu for maintenance, Lord Shiva for destruction of this universe. These particular functions are associated with the particular modes, Rajas, Sattva and Tamas respectively. And accordingly they attract certain kind of worshippers. Lord Shiva, controller of Tamogun, also dresses and behaves to some extent out of his compassion in a way that will attract such worshippers. He lives in a crematorium, has a snake around his body, puts ash on his body. This is to be seen as absolute truth's compassion to manifest in the form of Lord Shiva, in which the Supreme Lord can attract conditioned soul towards himself. Shiva is often seen with serpents entwined around his arms, waist, neck and hair. Snakes often invoke fear, so this represents how Shiva is free from fear. The snake also signifies time. Ash is the sign of Shiva's complete renunciation of the world. Let's look at Shiva's role in the process of destruction. At the end of 1000 cycles of the 4 yugas, the earth is almost exhausted. Lord Vishnu then assumes the character of Rudra, a form of Lord Shiva, the destroyer, and descends to reunite all of his creatures within himself. Lord Shiva plays a significant role in the final and ultimate annihilation of the universe, which takes place at the end of Brahma's life. At the time of devastation, when Anantashesh Sankarshan desires to destroy the entire creation, he becomes slightly angry. Then, from between his 2 eyebrows appears 3-eyed Rudra carrying a trident. This Rudra, who is known as Sankarshana, is the embodiment of the 11 Rudras or incarnations of Lord Shiva. He appears in order to devastate the entire creation. After Shiva appears in this way, he begins to do his Tandav dance of dissolution. Lord Shiva's dancing causes such a commotion that it brings in the clouds that cause the universe to become inundated with water, which is what happens as the process of annihilation continues. Although many people worship Lord Shiva, Shiva worships Lord Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam states, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the best of the Vaishnavas, the devotee of Lord Krishna. Bhagavatam also informs us that Lord Shiva is one of the 12 Mahajanas, the authorities on Vaishnava philosophy. Lord Shiva himself is always engaged in meditating upon his most worshipful Lord and glorifying his names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. There are numerous pastimes where Lord Shiva has had the most wonderful exchanges with Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. It is Lord Shiva who composed the famous Radha Kripakataksh Stotra as well. Lord Shiva is also Kshetrapal, or the personality protecting the Dham, and no person can enter the abode of the Lord without first receiving the permission and blessings of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, he is in charge of the modes of ignorance, but he is not ignorant. He is the most enlightened devotee of the Lord. He has got a parampara, a disciplic succession, which is called Rudra Sampradaya or Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, directly coming from him. On the holy occasion of maha-Sivaratri, devotees may pray to Lord Shiva to help them progress on the path of Krishna Bhakti swiftly. This is the greatest benediction that Lord Shiva is very keen to offer all living entities.